Hello, welcome. So today we're going to be taking a look at r/best of Redditor updates. We have some boss drama, we have some relationship drama. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in getting into with me today, then please do stick around and enjoy. And don't forget to like and subscribe, please. Thank you. Okay, so first one posted by Direct Caterpillar 77. My boss keeps stealing my lunch after I asked him to stop. Oh my god, if the bosses are doing it now, no one has a chance of keeping hold of their lunch. So this was posted originally to Ask a Manager, and it was posted October 24th, 2011. I have a bit of a weird situation and was wondering if you had any advice on how to deal with my manager. I've recently been transferred to a new department, working in a new office environment under a new manager. His diet consists mainly of fast food and takeout. I have crazy allergies to a bunch of foods and chemicals found in most processed foods. Some of the swell up like a balloon and stop breathing kind of allergy. Flippin' heck. I make most of my food at home and bring it with me to work. I'm really open about my allergies so that people understand I'm just effective, not rude. Fair enough. And most people get it, except my manager. He eats my lunch out of the staff fridge on almost a daily basis, as if the food fairy left him a gift. I resorted to packing meals that I could keep to my desk, and he started raiding my drawers when I would be in meetings or away from my desk. Surely that's gone way too far. That is a HR issue, surely. When I try to address the fact that he's stealing my food, he tries to butter me up by complimenting my cooking and then walks away. Time to get out the laxatives. Any thoughts on how I can handle this situation? Especially strategies that don't have me going above him to complain to his manager. Also, we have no HR department to turn to. Oh, okay, maybe not then. I would just go above him. If you've literally addressed it with him and he's still doing it, I would then go above him. That is so wrong. The fact that you then started to make non-perishable food that you could keep in your desk, so he raided your desk. This is targeted. This almost feels like workplace bullying in a way, because surely he's not eating every lunch in the office. I mean, I'd hope not. Update December 15th, 2011, 2 months later. I am so pleased to say that locked box idea worked like a charm. Oh, so someone had a really good suggestion then. That is a good suggestion, actually, a lockbox. My manager teases me daily about my lunch being under lock and key, but at least I get to eat my lunch. Another co-worker has jumped on board with the idea and has a locked box in the fridge too. A third keeps a box at his desk. It's becoming a running joke in the office, and thankfully everyone seems to be having a pretty good sense of humour, even the boss. It is wild to me how everyone's just like, hee, we have to lock away our lunch as if it's a prison because our boss can't control himself. That is crazy. We got him his own box and added toy food. He's constantly trying to trade boxes with someone else. I'm also pleased to say that we now have a HR department. One part-timer, but it's a start. She questioned the lockboxes in the fridge and was pretty much speechless when told the story. I can imagine. There's a nice passive-aggressive note on the fridge door now warning us against the perils of eating other people's food. Thanks for responding to my pleas with such helpful advice and such great comments from your readers. And then a final update 4 years later. Wow, the responses here are overwhelming. I'm sorry I'm late to the game on this one. It was reposted the same week that I relocated my entire life for a new job, and I still don't have internet. Nothing like a small town to show you how limited your consumer choices really are. I feel you. I've said to you guys before how I live in a very rural small place, and we can't get Ubers. We don't even have a taxi company here. We have to get taxis from the next town over, so it costs over 20 quid just for a taxi to go to a really short trip. It's ridiculous. I used the lockbox to store my food, and it worked like a charm to address that particular issue. As many of the readers guessed, though, my former boss had very little boundaries. Oh, you don't say. didn't exactly address issues, and failed to manage in any meaningful way. He was personable, and everyone who didn't have to work for him loved him. He was very well known throughout the company because of his humour and casual nature with everyone, from the cleaning staff right up to the CEO. He was promoted fairly regularly and is now the number 2 in the company, despite the fact that he had little boundaries and didn't actually know how to manage. That's concerning. I stuck it out far longer than I should have because he liked me and took me with him as he kept getting promoted. I did get to learn some new skills and pad my resume along the way. However, I moved on from that company almost entirely because of him and his management style. I'm now working in an entirely different field as an educator for one of the very diseases that cause some of the restrictions in my diet. The snacks here are great. I love that. And I love that you're able to turn such a crappy situation of having such a awful illness into something so positive. That's so good. And I mean, I don't care how personable that manager is. You steal my food, you will feel my wrath. Honestly. That's so wild though, how everyone was like, hee, we've just gone and got lock boxes. Do you know how insane it is that you need those in the first place? Because a grown man can't keep his sticky fingers to himself. Wild. So down in the comments, Aggressive Agency 381 says, Jesus, imagine being so entitled to someone's lunch that they literally have to lock it up to keep it away from you. I don't care if she says he was charming. I would not want to work with someone like that. Exactly. And then Crazy Ditzy Diva says, but imagine how extremely charming he must have been to get away with it and promoted so many times, in spite of his incompetence and lack of boundaries. Honestly, yeah, there's some corporate life skills to learn from this comedic villain. So next post, also shared by Direct Caterpillar 77. My F30 husband, M33, has been cheating on me with my best friend, F31, and asked me tonight if I want to be in a throuple. Oh, frying pan at the ready. This one was obviously not posted by Direct Caterpillar. They are the person who compiled it all for us. The original poster was u/throwra, just fuck my life. Oh, bless ya. Anyway, originally posted October 2nd, 2020. Okay, let me start out by saying fuck 2020. Do you know what? I bet there's many people that share that sentiment with you, but for many different reasons. My husband lost his job in April and has been home while I have been working extra shifts, making $12 an hour to keep us from going broke. Yes, I've been out of the house more than at home. Yes, I haven't been super active in bed because I'm really exhausted all the time from working 70 hours a week, standing on my feet all 70 hours. I thought he'd appreciate that I'm working so we have things like food and a place to live. Instead, he and my best friend have been fucking while I've been at work. She lost her job too. They've always gotten along with each other and I've never felt jealous or threatened that they have hung out together, just the two of them, over the years. One very drunk night in 2009, she and I did make out, but it was a one-time thing and I didn't enjoy it. I thought I could trust them and that they were just friends. Obviously, I'm an idiot. Honestly, I think a husband or whatever, or a wife going behind your back and cheating on you is one thing. Your best friend betraying you like that and going with your partner, I'm not sure, in fact, which would hurt me more, if I'm honest. Enough backstory. I came home tonight and found them snuggling on the couch watching TV, like in a spooning position, but it was very obvious it was intimate. They didn't panic, but she sat up. Then he sat up. At this point, I felt my stomach turn into a rock and I felt dizzy. No word of a lie, my body went into some kind of shock. I just walked to the bathroom and closed the door and sat on the toilet. I just started crying. I have no idea how long. I threw up. I heard them whisper talking but couldn't make out what they were saying. But then they knocked on the bathroom door and asked if I was okay. And I told them, obviously not. They didn't backpedal or deny anything. They didn't admit to f***ing then, but my best friend said we should all probably talk about what's going on. The audacity. My goodness. I stayed in the bathroom, we talked through the door. That's when my husband said, okay, yes, we didn't want you to find out like this, but we have been in a relationship since July. He said some more things, but I honestly can't remember them because my ears were kind of ringing, and I kept thinking about him saying relationship. This wasn't a fling or a one-night stand. I could maybe forgive that, but a real relationship? Isn't marriage supposed to mean just him and I are in a relationship? So he says whatever, and then my best friend says, so what do you think? I think you should move away from that door, love. I'm coming out swinging. I missed everything he said, obviously, so I told her that, and she said, so you missed the part about all three of us living together? After me asking, what? My husband clarified that she would stay on the couch, but they'd keep each other company during the day, and I could be with her too if I wanted. She knows I don't want this because we would have made out more than one time in 2009, right? I know she needs to move out of her place because no job equals no rent payment. I had told her in the past she could always crash at my place, but I never meant like this. How could she not know that? Is my best friend an idiot? Am I an idiot? You're not an idiot. Those two, though. I need advice. Yes, tell me I'm the idiot I am for trusting them and having bad judgment and not doing any wifely duties. I own all those things. No, OP, no. You should be able to trust your best friend and your husband together. They should both be good enough people to be able to trust them in a room on their own. And when you're working 70 plus hours a week, other things are going to need to slide for a bit. You know, you don't get married to have good times all the time. I just need help figuring out my next steps. I don't want to be in a throuple, and I don't even want to look at either of them. It's 3:30 a.m. and I can't sleep, and I don't know what to do. I feel like I've been used. I don't know, even if I leave, if I'd still have to pay for my husband's expenses because he's not working, which would mean I'm paying for them to have a relationship, which idiot has me doing since July, and I really hate my life right now. Oh, I hate that the OP is feeling responsible in any way for this. This is not their fault. TLDR, all work and no play makes throw RA just F my life a fucked over wife and friend. So we have some top comments. Kick back and relax says, sincerely, from the bottom of my being, leave his broke ass with that broke bitch. How stupid can he be? Cheating on the sole person who your entire lifestyle is dependent on? Let them rot. It's a blessing in disguise that you found out their true characters. Yeah, and I'm not being funny. I fully believe that they're only saying, let's be a throuple because they know that if you leave, they're screwed. So they want you to stay and agree to be a throuple so that they then have somebody to pay for them to basically lounge around together all day. That's all it is. So, Honey Bun Pancake says, you owe him nothing financially. He broke your vows. Just leave. You're hardworking. You'll make ends meet until you find someone worthy of you. And your best friend. My advice would be to cut them both out of your life. They're not right upstairs to come at you randomly asking for a throuple. And then the OOP says, he's literally the only person I ever dated. Oh god, I'm so stupid. Yeah, I want nothing to do with them. I hate that the OP even feels in any way to blame for all of this because they are not, in any way, shape or form. And then Queen of Keyless says, you're not stupid, you're a smart, hard-working person who got taken advantage of by the people you trusted. Get a divorce lawyer and don't tell him anything until you're all set. And then Sand-Covered Grass says, text him about it tomorrow when you're at work. Don't be obvious, but get him to say that he was cheating on you. Maybe not those words, but maybe just have him agree to the sentiment in writing. OP, I'm sorry, but you should get a divorce. This is unacceptable and you're not wrong to feel betrayed. You should take tomorrow off. I know it's last minute, but just do it. Take tomorrow off and spend the time for you. Go somewhere that makes you happy. You can do this. Find a divorce lawyer and call them. Text your husband and get him to incriminate himself. It might help with the legal stuff. Call your family, reach out to your friends, siblings, parents, whoever. It's okay to reach out for help. And then the OOP says, I wish I could take tomorrow off, but the only reason my manager is allowing is if you have a positive COVID test, or in his exact words, are in the hospital dying. I really wish it, especially because there's no way I'm going to sleep tonight. I'm going to have to find a cheap lawyer. We are barely getting by as it is, but yes, I need out of this place. I feel awful. Maro3792648 says, nothing is more expensive than not having a lawyer. Even though you'll have to stretch your finances, you'll end up winning in the end. Edit, you beautiful people of Reddit, I am overcome and honestly overwhelmed with the outpouring of comments and support and awards and DMs. I just got home from work and I'm crying, but this is a good cry. It's been a really awful year and yesterday was brutal, but logging on to this has just been the most special thing. I promise to read all of your comments and DMs, but it's going to take some time, haha. People who spend their coins on awards, that's very sweet of you, and I'm surprised that you do that on a throwaway, but I want you to know that it's honestly touched my heart that strangers can be this caring about a nobody. What is the point of awards? Like, I know you have to buy them, but what is the, what's the point? Like, does the person you're giving it to really get anything other than, like, an award? In which case, I feel like, why would people waste their money? I don't get it. Someone let me know. I don't feel alone like I did last night when I posted. Thank you. I still have no idea the best way to leave this situation, but I'm definitely not signing up for a throuple, which I made crystal clear to my husband at 4 a.m. Also, my manager pulled me aside today and asked me if everything is okay because I obviously didn't sleep and look super gross, I think from the throwing up and not eating. I just told him what happened because I couldn't think of a lie on the spot. He took me to his office and searched our legal bar and legal help and divorce mediation and looked me dead in the eyes and said, if I tell anyone at work, he'll deny it. So then I broke down sobbing in his office, which was really not my finest moment. So it turns out he has a soul and gave me Monday off, in his words, to get yourself to a lawyer, but keep it quiet from your husband. I love that you thought you had a stony-faced boss, but actually he's like secretly a nice guy. Like, I'm gonna help you, but don't you dare tell anyone I helped you. That's really sweet. So, on Monday, my husband will think that I'm at work, but I'll be seeing what my next steps should be from a legal perspective. Speaking of my husband, I asked him to give me some space for the next few days, and he's on the couch. My best friend texted me a few times today, but I've just left her on read. This was a long edit. I'm going to eat something and sleep now. Thank you for caring, Reddit. So we have an update a month later. First and foremost, I want to thank the thousands of people who reached out to me in the comments of my original post, in PMs and in chat requests. I've been super overwhelmed in a good way by how many people actually care. Some of you extended sympathy, some shared similar stories from your own lives, some offered me jobs, and some offered me distractions and even pizza. Pizza! I didn't accept, but thank you for the offer. I think I received over 10,000 messages in total. Wow! Plus the awards. I'm so sorry that I didn't thank you individually for the awards. I was raised better than that, but between work, sorting out my personal life, we will get to that, and just the total number of people I'd need to reply to, I just couldn't. Also, I received exactly 9 messages out of over 10,000. Just 9, and 7 of them were basically encouragement to do the throuple thing. Of course, there's always gonna be someone who has something nasty to say. Honestly, when it comes to like socials and people being nasty or people being mean or argumentative, I just think it's better just not to reply to people who are trying to be argumentative or nasty. Like, that is the approach that I have always taken online. Like, you want to argue with me? Argue with the wall. I'm not going to reply. If I think you've got mean intentions or nasty intentions, I'm not even going to give it any response, because I feel a lot of the nastiness that is on the internet is just people that want a response. They want to get a rise out of people. So why give it them? You know? Only 2 of the 10,000 people actually wrote something really offensive, and what they wrote wasn't even that bad. Plus, one of them apologized and said he was just trolling. See? See what I mean? I'm saying this because I think it's important, especially now with all the anger in the world, to know that people can come together and show support and be kind. 1 in 10,000 people was an asshole, meaning 9,999 in 10,000 people are actually decent human beings. I keep watching the news and see such a lack of kindness, but I know from my experience this past month that people from all over the world and with different lives and political views can show compassion and empathy, and I wish I could share that wonderful feeling of receiving kindness with everyone. I figured I'd answer the major questions I received, and if I leave out one of your burning questions, then I'll answer that too. I even learned some fancy Reddit formatting so that things are easier to read and not one giant wall of text. Did you expect to get Reddit famous? RIP your inbox, am I right? Okay, so I never expected my post to get as much attention as it did. In addition to being on the front page of Reddit, it made its way to podcasts, YouTube, Instagram and Twitter, and I even got a couple of requests from paying publications to tell my story. I'm so glad that I used an alt, haha. I have at least been able to put the post on the back burner while I try to sort out my life. In real life, I'm a quiet person and hate attention, so I'm thankful that I was able to keep things anonymous. Well, mostly anonymous. A couple Redditors messaged me and figured out who I am, and of course my husband figured out I posted. Important, if anyone comes forward and says this was their post, that person is lying. I will never reveal my identity. Even the offers of being paid to come forward didn't, and will never change my mind. Good, keep it that way, but honestly, anonymity when you're on the internet is probably the best way to go. People who know me in real life have kept it off their social media too, which I appreciate a lot. I'm a private person and want to stay as anonymous as possible. Are you getting divorced? Yes, 1,000 times, yes. He cheated on me and tried to manipulate me, and I did not sign up to be married to more than one person. I don't want that for myself. People in the poly lifestyle very kindly messaged me and told me what my husband and best friend did was not how it's done in the poly community. Poly is out of love and trust and communication. None of these 3 things happened here, so yes to divorce. Good, glad to hear it. Did you meet with a lawyer? Yes, and I'm really glad that I did and learned a lot. It turns out that the way the divorce works where I am from is it's a process that you have to follow and can take about a year to finish if it's uncontested, longer if the spouse objects. Right now, after some paperwork, there's a lot of paperwork, I'm separated, which actually happened really quickly. It turns out being working poor helped a lot with this. Having no assets to split up made things much easier. And since before COVID, my husband and I basically made the same amount of money and don't have kids or pets, it's even easier. But my actual divorce is going to take a long time and lots more paperwork. My husband is not contesting the divorce. Honestly, I'm surprised he's not contesting because I feel like he was hoping OP would remain a meal ticket for him and the gross best friend. Did you get your husband admitting to cheating on text or voice? My lawyer said it doesn't matter. I live where it's a no-fault divorce, which means cheating makes no difference at all in how things play out. Everything just gets split down the middle, whether or not your husband is a piece of crap who cheats on you with your best friend, and whether or not you write on Reddit that your piece of shit ex did that, as long as it's true. Not that I'm bitter. Okay, I might be bitter, but my therapist says it's good to express my anger. Are you expecting to get everything in the divorce? No. The law is the law. Plus, there's nothing to get except some family keepsakes, which I took with me. It was my mum's jewellery I got after she died this year. It wasn't worth much, but my lawyer says there's an inheritance provision or something under the law. Otherwise, we just add up to the value of everything right down to our socks and split it 50-50. In marriages where one spouse makes a lot more money than the other, things like alimony and support come up as well as child support if there are kids. So, my situation is thankfully simple. We don't have much anyways, so basically we are leaving each other even, but with some emotional baggage. Why don't you get a better job? $12 where I live is better than minimum wage, believe it or not. I will have news, I think, about the job thing. One thing I learnt from some of the messages from random Redditors is managers want to hire hardworking people. I have the confidence to apply for other jobs now, but I'm not accepting any offers from Redditors because of that privacy thing. What's the deal with your boss? I thought my boss was a terrible human being. Turns out he's a decent human being and helped me through this, which I put in my edit in my original post. He also agreed to be a reference for me for the new job thing, but is trying to get me to stay on because I work hard. Do you talk to your best friend anymore? I hope not. Haha, no way. Good, I'm glad. Not since that night and not ever. I blocked her and refused to talk to her. She showed up at my place and I ignored her apology. I have no time for her bullshit or backstabbing. She lost our friend group too. Good. I mean, that is just the consequence of her actions, really, isn't it? Once they found out, I got so many stories from them of her backstabbing them over the years. This was all news to me, but let's just say that we each had stories that show her to be untrustworthy. I still think about her and wish things could be different, but she broke my trust in a way that can never be fixed. She and my husband still talk and are in a relationship. They have each other, just like they wanted. Ugh. Did you kick your husband out? No, I moved back home with my dad about a week or so after my first post. My mum died earlier this year and he's been hurting from that. It just made sense. It's nice to be home. My mum was really a perfect human. She was the kind of mum everyone wants, and she died suddenly this year from a brain aneurysm. She is the person I would have wanted to help me through this. My dad isn't my mum, but I'm learning that he was kind of the silent partner who 100% was the same as her in terms of being supportive. So, while I never expected to be living in my childhood bedroom at 30, it's actually kind of exactly the perfect place for me to be. Plus, my dad makes great baked chicken and always has ice cream in the freezer. For the moving out part, my friends came over and my dad did too, and we all moved my stuff at once. A lot of Redditors reached out about the unspoken dangers of ending a relationship and the ex getting violent when they feel they are being abandoned. My husband is a shit human for a bunch of reasons, but he never got physically violent with me, but I decided that being safe was important, so I called in favours from my friends. It was fine, and my husband ended up leaving during the move to make things easier on everyone. Why did you call yourself an idiot and make things your fault? Because I'm stupid, haha. I think it's just what I always do. I own up to things even when they aren't my fault, which leads nicely to the next question. Are you in therapy? Yes, a lot of you reached out and suggested it. Since this is anonymous, I will be super honest here. Between losing my marriage and my best friend and my mum and working insane hours, I had a breakdown. There's no other way to put it. I was in crisis and probably still am. I'm still not eating great, and I'm still making a lot of mistakes in how I talk to myself and call myself an idiot and stupid. I get nightmares about my mum that wake me up and then I can't get back to sleep. I cry for no reason. Sometimes I cry until I throw up. My sleep has been awful when I do sleep. Sometimes I feel really angry and don't even know what to do with that because it's just so much anger. Sometimes I forget my mum is dead and try to ask her a question, and that turns me into a puddle when I remember I can't. Sometimes I'm about to text my best friend and get really angry that I can't because she's not even my friend at all. I miss sleeping beside my husband and having that feeling of warmth in my bed. There aren't any good days yet, and I seem to always have a headache. Life is just kind of hard these days, and I can't fix how I feel no matter how much I try. I found out that therapy with insurance through work is paid for up until a certain amount. My therapist says after the work benefits run out, they will still help me by reducing her rates if I want. That's nice. It is nice being able to talk to someone who can see the big picture and explain the brain science of why I'm a crying mess and feel so awful. I honestly don't know if I'm going to get better or if therapy will be some kind of magical fix, but I'm trying it. I don't leave a session feeling like anything has been fixed, but I do leave feeling that I'm normal to be feeling all of those things, which really does help me in a weird way. It's only been 3 sessions, but I have homework now, which my therapist says will help me learn new patterns. It might be bullshit, and it feels weird to try, but it's a step, I guess. I really don't know. Will you trust and date anyone again? Eventually. Definitely not now. My husband is the only guy I ever dated. He's all I know. I actually never wanted anyone else but him. And now that I don't want him, I don't want anyone. I'm sure that in time I'll be ready. And when I am, I will take things slow. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Haha. I wish I had an update where I lived happily ever after. Real life is so hard and so real. But if you read this far, thank you. And thank you again for your amazing support and kindness from my first post. Edit to add, TLDR, life is messy and there are no shortcuts. I'm a mess, but I am getting divorced, unfriended the bestie, in therapy, and I'm thankful for my dad. I honestly think the OP will be okay. And, you know, this is a while ago now, so I'm hoping they are. But I think, obviously, at this stage, they were still in the shock of everything, and I'm hoping the therapy did really good. I hope they're getting on really well. I'm so glad they were able to have a pretty clean divorce and just get away from them. And now, yeah, I just hope they're rebuilding their life. I cannot believe what those two nasty pieces of work did to the OP. Disgraceful behaviour. But yeah, all the best wishes for the OP, all of them. Anyway, down in the comments of the Best of Redditor Updates post, Bug Hunter says, one of the hard parts about divorcing a cheater is coming to the realization that you won't get a satisfying court experience, where the judge rips your spouse a new one for being a cheating dog. No one cares, and it's almost never worth bringing up. Yeah, unfortunately, that is a bit how it is, isn't it? And then Innocent Salad says, yeah, a lot of posts people are like, get evidence of his cheating for the divorce. And I'm like, the courts don't care about that and won't even consider it unless you're specifically trying to claw back the marital funds spent on the affair. And even then, they don't really care. Okay, so I think that's where we're going to leave it for today. This one's been a tad longer than usual. I don't know, when I edit it down it might shrink, but looks like it's going to be a tad longer than usual. Whoopsie. So yeah, if you made it all the way to the end of this one, I appreciate you very, very much. If you give a little like, subscribe, notifications on, that is your initiation into the Coven of Void. Welcome! Whatever it is you're doing for the day, I hope you have a really good rest of the day. Goodbye!